Welcome back to my channel. I'm Traven, and in today's video we're going to be doing a review for Ghostlore Volume 1. Ghostlore is a horror comic written by Cullen Bunn. Now, I haven't read anything by Bunn for a number of years. I've not followed his career, but way back in the day, I think back when I was in college, there was a series called The Sixth Gun, and it was this amazing Weird West story. I loved it. I picked it up in, I think, singles and then in trade. So I had a lot of fun with it, and he wrote that as well. So while I've not followed his other works, his recent work, there is at least one title he has that I very much enjoyed, and was surprised to find that he is the author of this as well. Basic story: you have a family, the Agates. The father, Lucas, is the minister of the town, and his daughter Harmony is in the rebellious teenage years. They're coming home one night in the snow with the mother and a young brother in the back seat. The mother is a character who seems like she's gotten very tired, worried about her husband and him becoming cynical, him maybe losing some faith in what he does. And the son is currently nonverbal. He's not talking, and nobody seems to have an idea why. So driving home, Harmony is the one driving. She sees a shadowy figure on the road, swerves to avoid it, hits a tree, and suddenly can see all these shadowy figures. What you come to discover is that the occupants in the back seat, the mom and the younger brother, have passed away. The brother tells a story of why he wasn't talking before, and it's this very eerie moment early on in the book where you're not quite sure what's happening. He tells the story of teasing this girl and her turning into a monster. The reveals of the monsters in this book are probably the most shocking moments, and the things that really make me buy in. It really gives me a sense of something is killing the children, like that same kind of energy. So he tells his story about how they were bullying this girl. She turned out to be a monster. Like, it's really creepy the way she turns into this like horrific being. And then after he tells his story, he passes on. He dissolves and I guess ascends to a higher plane. And the Harmony and Lucas find out that because they've been in a near-death experience, they can now see the dead, and all the dead have a story to tell. Since they're the only ones who can see and hear the dead, all these ghosts basically come to them telling their ghost stories. So it's like a reversal ghost story kind of thing. It's really a really neat concept to start with. And one of the things I immediately appreciate out of this book is that it's not giving you clear ideas of why things are happening the way they are, or what the purpose behind these different things is. We don't get a mentor character who comes in and explains everything to them. They are basically, the two of them are basically groping blind, trying to figure out what is happening and why is it happening. Lucas tries to do the thing that Harmony did in listening to someone's story and hoping that that will help them pass on. But it doesn't. It just makes them angry and violently attack him. And so what Lucas is ending up doing is executing the ghosts. He's having to fight and destroy them, and then they're passing on. And so they have very different ways that they're approaching it. Their tenuous relationship, as bad as it started off at the beginning, is further strained by their completely different approaches to what is happening. And then you of course have this shadowy figure in the background who is basically whatever he's doing with the ghost is actually creating an army for himself of these horrific monsters, and he's aware that these two now have that same ability, and he's coming after them. So we set up a good antagonist. Between the very intriguing story, the captivating world where we're still holding so much back as far as how the inner workings, operate, the looming threat of this outside force coming for them, even as they are splitting from one another, taking completely different paths, moving away from each other. I think it's all building toward a very interesting continuation. My biggest frustration with the collection is actually nothing to do with the story or the art. The art is also amazing. It has a way of flipping between those subdued personal moments and then the very horrific, monstrous moments. But my issue is that this collection is only volumes 1 through 4, and your standard collection of a trade paperback is usually about 6 volumes. Now, there are a number of reasons that this could be. Key among them, I would think, would be pacing. So if you were writing a story that was kind of wrapping up within those 4 volumes, that seemed like a good place to kind of end an arc, and going 2 issues later is not going to be enough to reach a satisfying point. I could see doing that. But at the end of the day, you're still getting charged about the same for any other trade paperback for less material. And so my one knock against the series would be the price point to the content ratio, I guess is what what I would say. So if you are someone who needs to get a certain amount of bang for your buck, this might not be the title for you. But for everybody else, if you are a fan of Something is Killing the Children, you're a fan of something like The Others, I feel like is a good movie analog to what's going on here. Kind of reversal ghost story element. I think you would do well to pick this up. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Again, I don't begrudge anything about the story or the art. I thought that everything was working really well. The characters are compelling, and we're fairly focused on just a handful, so we're not overloading the narrative with too many characters, and you get really fun one-off stories about the ghosts and like what they've gone through, and each one of them has some sort of story where they've encountered something monstrous. So it has kind of almost like an anthology feel to each of the issues, because you run across, okay, this ghost, he's telling me this story, and this is the thing that happened, and this is the monster that shows up for that week or for that month, for that issue, right? And so it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops in the future. This is an ongoing. I don't know if it's planned for a certain number of issues or if it's just going to go as long as Bunn has ideas for the concept. But initial thoughts, volume 1, very strong. I would definitely look to pick it up. And that's going to do it for our review today. As always, I hope your reading journey is going well. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to help grow this corner of our BookTube community. The #1 thing you can do to help us grow is hit that thumbs up button so that these videos are shared with more people. Until the next one, take care.